Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'll try to keep this video short and sweet. And before I dive into the subject, how do you get better or become best at everything? Which in itself is a pretty funny topic, and I don't know who started these sort of ideas where you can become best at everything. But anyway, before I dive into that, as you know, the link is in the description. If you want to grab my free ebook on becoming a better programmer, find a better job, and all that stuff, just click the link and I'll grab the ebook. Um, so that said, how do you get better? How do you become best at everything? This programming language, that programming, at least what's popular out there. So quick story. About 7 years ago, I worked for a company, and this was a data heavy company. So when I did the interview, actually, um, the guys asked me, the CTO actually asked me if I knew um, quite if I knew enough about Bash programming, just writing Bash scripts, for deployment and all that stuff. And I said, no, I don't know too much, but I can find my way around. Yeah, and that itself kind of impressed this guy, because he himself had background in something else. Okay, he had background in building CRM systems, so CRM system, and you would integrate that with payment gateways, and then you would offer that as a solution to businesses. Okay, so he had experience with that, but he did not have too much experience as with the deployment, Bash scripts, and all that. So he asked me, and he was kind of pleased to know. And then I go home and I ask myself, whoa, this guy is a CTO. This guy is a CTO, and he should already know that. He should already know all that. How to write Bash scripts, scrappers, and all that. And I was shocked. Like, he didn't know. He knew a little bit, but not as much as me at that point. And that kind of made me realize that not everybody's gonna know everything. That's why you need people around you who will know certain things. That you don't know. So if you're somebody who feels like, oh, you don't know enough, well, let's take example of this guy. He was on a good paid job, on a good salary, and this guy doesn't know everything. And I think there was few more instances where I knew few things that this guy didn't know, or I knew few things that other senior developers didn't even know. Me as a junior knew few things that senior didn't know. So that kind of tells you something. That tells you that you can be really, really, really good at certain things. Okay, you can be really good at database queries, but then when it comes to writing JavaScript and interfaces, you're not that good, and you gotta realize that. What you can also do is just like, I'm not good at that, and I'm gonna work on that. But it starts there and it just ends there. There is no discussion around it. You just feel like, it's like me. I was never good with SQL, and I just hated writing SQL queries and all that. Then I started to work with CRM directly, and it kind of made me even worse developer, like in terms of writing queries directly into the database and extracting the data. And then slowly I realized, I'm not that good. Maybe I should practice more. Maybe I should kind of, use my free time to do just that, just practice SQL queries to grab the data. And I did that, and now I think I'm okay. So that goes with everything. There is going to be people who are way better than you, with less experience than you, think better than you, and there's going to be like that. And all you can do is just, find out the things you're not good at, and you need to get better, and then just work on those things, and that's it. There's literally nothing else. There is no secret. There's nothing. There's going to be, like, for example, I work with a lot of finance sort of applications. So if I give you to build a module in that application, and you have never worked on finance application, you're gonna get confused. You're like, what the hell is going on? This Stripe API, PayPal API, and all that stuff. It's confusing, and I don't even know how Stripe works. There's little things you kind of discover along the way, and you're gonna feel like a noob, literally. But that's part of the game, and that happens with everybody. It happens with me literally every once a week at least. So don't feel bad about that. Just figure out what you are not good at, and just work on that, man. And spend like 3 months, and hopefully you'll get better.